Hey there, it's Natalie. Welcome to my channel. Okay, well I've got another upholstery project or reupholstery project to share with y'all. 20 years ago, in my room I have this armchair, vintage armchair, and 20 years ago I covered it with this kind of eggplant purple fabric, and I have other colors in my room now, and so I wanted to change this. And I've been putting it off for a while, doing other stuff. Anyway, and y'all know I do a little bit of everything, but y'all seem to, some of you seem to really like my recovering or upholstery videos. I'm not a professional, never claimed to be a professional, don't have professional tools. So what I'm trying to do is help you who are also not professionals, you're just DIYers, learn how to do to recover some stuff without, and I mean, like in our town, we don't have an upholstery shop in our town anymore. So anyway, I want to show you how I have changed the chair from this dark, plain purple to this bright, funky, fun fabric. And so I want to share this with you, all of the steps that I did, and on the back of it, it has the upholstery nails in the back of it, so that's a different technique than what I have shared with you before. So don't go away. I've tried 3 different fabrics and leave them on there for like a week to see if I like them. So I'm going to show you the 3 different fabrics and then what I finally decided on. This was the first one that I thought about. So this is pattern number 2. So this is my favorite. I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, that is wild and crazy. Everything else in the room is plain and solid with no pattern. But I have the coral color, the gray, the turquoise, a robin's egg blue, and there's a little bit of soft yellow in there. So I love, I think, and I've had this on this chair for now several months, living with it to see, will I like this? Will this work in the room? And I think I really like that. Some of the tools that you're going to need. First, for the disassembly, I'm going to take the fabric off of the chair first to use that as my pattern. And so I'm going to use what I've gathered up. I may or may not use all of these. A flat screwdriver, a pair of pliers, a pair of needle noses, and this is a gardening tool, and it's pretty narrow on the tip of it, so I can use that to pop out some of those staples on the back side, some of their upholstery nails actually that's on the back. Now this is funny because this says antique upholstery nails. This is what I'll be using to put the back of the cover on the back of the chair, and these are actually, I think, kind of antique. It says made in the USA. That is rare. So I may or may not use those. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. These are actually really and truly antique upholstery nails. And I'm also going to use my electric staple gun, my arrow stapler, and it uses T50 staples, and so I got 2 different sizes, 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch. Of course, you're going to need a pair of sharp scissors. I think my padding is good on my chair, so now I'm going to turn the camera and we will, I'll show you how to get that, the cover off to start off with. I could prop this up on a table, but I'm just going to sit here on a stool so that I'm in kind of a comfortable position. I'm going to try this little garden tool. I've never used this before for this kind of a project, but let me just see if it pops any of these out, and if not, then I'll just go to the screwdriver. I'm going to swap to the screwdriver just so that you can see that you don't have to have like a garden tool or something else, just a little, and if you want a longer handle on that, you can have a longer handle on your screwdriver. These come out pretty easily. I might need my needle nose, but I'm not sure. And one more time, I want to remind y'all that I am not a professional, okay? I am an artist by trade, and that's what I do. I teach art, and I love to do fix-it projects, DIY stuff. So I'm sure that there's some professionals out there that have much more detailed videos than what I have, but I just enjoy sharing with you how I do something. We're almost done with getting this part of the back off. It's easy now since I can pull that fabric, get that tool up underneath the fabric. There we go. Now I'll use that for my pattern. And now it's time to take these off, and I'm going to go ahead and use my screwdriver to do that. These staples will be easy. My screwdriver and my needle nose pliers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop all these staples loose, and I'm going to turn the chair upside down, and I'm going to get all the staples out of the bottom of it, out of the seat cushion, and then we'll go to the sewing room and lay this out on the cutting table and cut us a new pattern. Okay, so one thing I want to show you while you are in the disassembly part of it is kind of note how they did like the curves and the corners. And I can see that there's, I mean, I did this, but if you're disassembling the original, and I probably watched that from the original, how they folded in the corners around the arms and where they cut and how they did this treatment. And so, because I want to try to remember, I could take a picture of it with my phone. Okay, I think I have all of the staples out. So I'm going to just be real careful about how I take this front part off, this top part off, because I've still got some of the original cotton batting in there. I have some poly that I put in when I covered it the last time. So anyway, this is going to be the pattern for the seat back and then the back of the seat. Now I've got to do the seat. I propped this on a stool. You can see it's setting upside down on top of the stool so I can get it up where it's high enough for me to work on. I want you to look at that wonderful construction. Isn't that amazing? I love old pieces of furniture that are well made. All right, so I'm going to take these staples out. Just kind of show you how to get started. Okay, all of the staples are loose. All of the fabric is ready to come off. So just a little quick tip. You see that thing right there? That's got all the staples and all the tacks in it. And I don't want to flip this chair over with that sitting in the middle. So, not that I've done that before. And if I had, I probably wouldn't tell you. Put that someplace safe, then turn the chair over. Let me show you this in the disassembly process. So after I got the chair turned over and I was lifting this up, this wraps around the batting, the cotton, and so it gives it a nice clean edge with all of that caught on the inside. So we want to remember that when we come back to do our cover. All right, so we wanted to see, is there a right, I mean not right side or wrong side, there's obviously a wrong side and a right side, but is there a pattern? Is there like, this one goes this way, this goes this way? Is there a central theme? Is there like a design that needs to go in the middle of the seat, in the middle of the back? And I can't tell that there is. And so what I'm going to do, I cut the seat first. Lay all of this out, smooth it all out, open that up. I'm off of the edge of the table a little bit here, and then I'll move it here in just a minute. And then I'll just cut around these edges, all the way around, all of the edges. I'll pin it in place so that it doesn't shift on me. And but there doesn't seem to be like any rhyme or reason. There's a crease right there, and that's a fold of the fabric, and I will press that out before I put this on the chair. But do y'all see an up or a down on this? This would be what would be laying right in the seat. Right here is the main thing in the seat, and I think that's going to be okay. Let me show you what I've done. This is the front, like that's going to tip underneath the front. So as you're going back on the chair, this is the, get that off. This is the seat, and this goes over the back part of the chair. So what I want to do, even though there doesn't seem to be a rhythm or anything to the pattern, I want, and this is just going to be a split in here, I want to go ahead and continue with this pattern going this way. This is the part that'll lap around the back side of the chair. And again, there's my crease right there. Make sure I've got that right. Okay. So this is the top of my chair back. This would be that tucks under, like the seat's going to wrap this away. This is going to tuck under the back, the lower part of the seat. So I want to just find my kind of middle. That looks about like the middle to me. We're about the same space there. And so I'm just going to keep this pattern going. I'm going to lose a little bit over here, but I'll use that like in my cording for the footstool. So I'm going to go ahead and pin this in place. And then we will cut this out. And I think I have, on the back side, it's not going to really matter because it's going to be against the wall. But if it was going to be, I don't think it's going to really matter on the back, even if it was an exposed back, because you're not going to have like the pattern running from one section to the next. So I'm going to pin this and then we'll cut it. About wonky cuts. So this is the original that I took off, and see how this is all jaggly on this side, and on this side it's nice and straight. I don't have to do, I'm not sure why. That's probably where I trimmed it off after it was pinned, after it was stapled in place. So I can just cut it straight. I don't have to follow the jaggly lines. And so this part, like right here, this is also going to be, and I don't know if that recorded. So what I'll do is I'll just cut a little split in here, and but I'm not going to go too deep because I can come back on when I'm on the chair and do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. Just be careful when you're cutting your original. You can always cut away some more, but you can't uncut it. You can't come back and add stuff in once you've cut it away. And again, I'll tell y'all again, I'm not a professional. I'm just me, and this is what I do. And so, but one of the things that you would want to pay attention to is if you were doing this in like a velvet or a cut velvet or something like that, you would want to make sure about the sheen. Even if you were doing a satin or a brocade, make sure about how that sheen is going to lay and how the feel of it's going to lay. For me, if I was doing velvet or velveteen, I would want the nap of that velvet. This is the top of the back of the chair. I would want that velvet to go down. But that's just me. So here's where I'm going to cut in just a little bit. Right here, not too far. Right in here. I know that's going to go up to at least that far. Excuse me. And then on this side, I'll just follow this little line. That's as far as I want to go right now. And I'll take this with me whenever I go in to cover the chair. I've laid both pieces on there just to see how they're going to look, and so I can see where there's some pattern repeats, and I'm good with that. The little yellow paisley that kind of sits on the seat and on the back of the chair. So now I'm ready to attach the back. So the first thing I think I want to do is I'm going to fold this. There's a split right here where this arm is, and I'm going to fold this under, kind of smooth this out just a little bit to see about where that's going to be, and then I need to fold this where there's not a pucker or a pleat in it. So I'm going to put just a little staple right here just to hold it for a second, and then I think I want to put me a little like a Y shape. So I'm going to cut just a little bit, just a little Y shape right there at the end of that split, so it will wrap around. I'm going to fold this where it sits smooth to the arm. And I don't want to go down very far because I need to fold this also, because this is going to go up the back. So let me just put a little. I want to make sure that I get this smooth across here, and you can see I need a little bit more split in here. So I am going to go ahead and my scissors, so I want that to go smooth across. And again, I'm going to do a Y. And see if I've got that far enough, and I don't, because it still has a pucker right there, so I want to take it just a little bit further. I'm going to redo this side because it's got a little pucker in it right there. Okay, I think I'm ready to staple that. Just swing this back around. took this loose because there was a little bit of a fullness right in here that I didn't like, and you can see I've got this much extra like right there. So I'm just going to make two little, I'm not going to make the Y any larger, but I'm just going to do a couple of straight cuts in just a little bit. I don't want to go too far. So I can fold this under and wrap this and see if that is a smoother fit. And that's much better now. I still could probably do just a little tiny bit more. And just the main thing I would tell you is just take your time. Don't get in a rush. Don't get in a hurry. Smooth this across. Looks pretty good. Let's get a staple in there. I've got the fold on the back side. Swing that so you can see it's folded right there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is do the top. So I'll smooth that and staple right there. I'm going to staple away from the edge so that I can, whenever I put my tacks in there, they won't get in the way. And then smooth from the bottom and pull up. In the middle, I'm going just about center with that. I know I'm on the edge of the camera right now. Okay, let me turn it back to the front so you can see. And so that's smooth across there. And so now I'll start to shape my corners, and I need to get this folded under so that I don't have that sticking out. And there's a little split right there where it wraps around that arm. Right there. On both sides there's a little split. I need to make sure that my split is in the right place and get this little part tucked under. So smooth that from the front over to the side, and I'm going to start in the curve. And I'll see this little pleat that's coming up. I don't really want a hard pleat on the front of that, so I am going to smooth this around like that. Make a little fold where the fold is to the back side. Put the staple down so that it doesn't get into my nails. And just ease this on down. So now you see I work that little pleat right there. But this front part of it is smooth, the top is smooth. Alright, let me do the sides a little bit so we don't wind up stretched out of place or out of whatever. And just kind of baby it, pulling it on around, smoothing it on around. like to trim this too short until I finish, so that I have a place to hold on and to pull and maneuver that fabric. So let me start back up here. Let's go to the middle, and we'll get this curve that's right here in the middle. Pull that down, and then we'll ease into these other ones. Let me turn this so that I can get to get the pressure I need. And so I've got this little fold that's right here. I don't want that. So let me see if I can work that out a little bit. All right, let me turn it and show you the front. So that's how it looks so far. That's how it looks from the front. I think that looks pretty good. All right, now I'm going to deal with this little part down here. I have a split that's right here, and it is not deep enough for me to take this to the back and for that to tuck around. So I am going to split that a little bit with my scissors right there. I'm going to shift again so I can get at it without getting up. I'm being lazy now. Thank you very much. So I just cut a little split. Let me see if you can see that. Like that. So I can turn this underneath, and this will go underneath, and turn that back. All right, this is the back of the chair. This is the support. The arm is up here. There's a piece of wood back here, and so I've cut this little split to where it's about a ½ inch short or shy of where that wood cross piece is right here. This part is going to turn under and go to the back, and this part, there is a piece of cotton batting right there. Can you see that? Yes, there's a cotton batting right there. And so I'm going to turn this under and push that underneath that cotton batting so that I have a smooth edge there. And then this will fold and pull to the back like that. Okay? And so now I'm going to turn it around so that I can staple the back side. But this is how it needs to look from the front. Now, instead of, let me clip that off. Where did I put my scissors? Right there. Just to get this out of the way so you can see. Instead of just doing this to start off with, I want to go ahead and make sure that this is smooth from the front to the back. Pull that up and staple, and I'll ease in to that folded area. Smoothing it. Now I'm ready for my fold. And just to be on the safe side, stand and make sure what it looks like from the front. And it looks good. I'm going to give that one more little fold to get it off of this fullness right here and get it into this support that's right here. So all I did, this is my fold in right there. Give it one more little fold. And I'm going to put one more because it's going through the cotton batting. All right, so that finishes this back side. No, it doesn't finish the back side. It finishes this side of the back. Let me back it up and show you. That's what that curve looks like. It's pretty smooth. I'll trim this fullness off before I do the back. So now I'm going to finish this other side without your help. And I'm really happy with the way that that turned out. And so we'll get started on the seat. I pressed my crease out, and I've got this up on a table so that I can work on it just a little bit easier. And so what I'm going to do to start off with, and you're not going to be able to see me staple this, so you're going to have to just kind of trust me on this, because I've got to kind of lean over here and get underneath this and make sure my fingers are out of the way. So I want to do that from the front and the back and sides to make sure. And also the other thing I did is I made sure that my sides were even, that I had enough fabric to lap underneath and staple in place. So you want to be sure and you center up, not just your pattern, but make sure you have enough fabric all the way around. All right. So I'm going to smooth this across, pull most of the fullness out so it's nice and firm. Wrap that around. I love this stapler because it has a safety on it to kind of help to make sure that you don't get your fingers stapled and it doesn't go off and staple something that you're not ready to staple. On this corner, that split is just almost exactly where it needs to be, but I'm going to go ahead and work this corner on this other side first so I can show you what needs to happen here. So as I come across, this is where the wood of the support is, right here, and my split is way too, it's not long enough. So what I want to do is kind of just like make me a little mark in there with my fingertip, and I'm going to make a split. I could mark this with a little pin on the inside to make sure that I get this in the right spot. And that's where it needs to be, right there. So I'm just going to do a little clip. And then this will make it really easy to fold this over and fold this over. And remember, we're going to catch that cotton batting in the front. But what I'm going to do first is do this side. Make sure that my back is good. And it is. To do this side, what I want to do is make sure that I've got this turned under and smooth, and so it just comes right to the edge of that little piece of wood right there. Make sure nothing is folded there. That's not supposed to be folded. Off camera, I put a staple under here because I couldn't get everything all adjusted the way I needed to get it adjusted to shoot that staple. So to do the front, we do the same thing. We're going to fold under this edge to make sure that the cotton batting is caught in there, and then pull this. Okay, I've got that tucked under. I folded everything, made sure that it could come over here to the edge of this piece of wood, and then I've got this stretched back underneath here, and hopefully I can find a place where my stapler will hit and staple this from the back side, the underside. So I am going to do that. I'm going to have to turn the chair upside down, but this is how you're going to want this to look from the front. So it's all tucked in around this wood part, and then the fabric is tucked in underneath that piece of batting that rolls over the front. And then I've got it pulled. This is smooth, and then now I'm going to staple it. I like the way that this is looking, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to do that off camera. Now I'm going to repeat this whole process with the back side. Make sure this is smooth. Make sure my edges are tucked under. Catch that batting in place. And then smooth all of this out and staple in place. It's nice and smooth. Now staple. Yay! Yay! All right, same thing here. Tuck under, catch that batting. Convince yourself that you're smarter than a piece of fabric. That's the hardest thing. Wrap this corner where it's smooth. My splits were good on this side. Wrap this under. And I've got a little bit of fullness right here, so I want to ease this on back. Staple that in, and then I'll fold that excess under. So let me just put one more staple in here. Maybe I need to convince myself that I'm smarter than a staple gun. I am pretty happy with the way that this has turned out so far. Got my little tucks done and everything stapled in place. The backs and the corners, and it looks pretty good. That back part of the seat is ready to put the back part on. This was a little harder physically than I remembered, but it could be that I'm 20 years older now. So I'm going to go to the ironing board and show you what to do for the back part. This may not be the way the professionals do it, but this is the way I'm going to do it. You can do it however you want to do it. I've got the right side down, and of my original, the right side is down. I'm going to press this in place, and so let me scoot this down just a little bit. Make sure I've got room on both of the sides. I'm not too concerned about the pattern part of this part, so I'm just going to fold this and press it. Fold this corner in, fold this little edge in, like that, and then fold up and press. Okay, let me show you that one more time. You're going to fold this over, press this down, fold this in, and fold up. So let me do it on this corner. It's down. Make a little fold right there. And then fold up. Now on the top part, as I come down, this is going to have a little bit of fullness in it. And on the corners, I'm going to need to clip. When I took this apart, I had the upholstery nails across here all the way around, and so I'm going to try something a little bit different. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm sure there's a way to do this. I live in a place where there's not a Joann's or a Hobby Lobby. I live in the middle of nowhere, or the middle of everything. We're an hour and a half away from anything. So I'm going to put pins. I've got this folded. I'm going to put a couple of pins on the sides here, and these two little pins to keep this from shifting. I'm going to lift this up, get it out of my way. Now I've cut 2 pieces of cardstock, 2 inches, and I've put a fold. And I'm going to put this up next to I'm going to go to this edge where the wood is and put this next to that fold. And there's probably like a term for this, or a thing that you can buy. I'm out of staples. I ran out of staples, but let me talk about my staple gun for just a second. Okay, it's an Arrow. It's easy on my older hands. It has a safety on off right there. Let me turn it off to show you this. It's really easy to load. Wrench that down. Watch your hand. Get out of the way. So drop your staples in. I'm going to use 1/4 inch staples since I'm doing this part right here, and I don't need long staples. Slide that back in. Okay. And then the power back on. Let's see if it's going to staple. I'm going to put that right along that fold. Power's on, I think. There it is. I can go right up next to that. Let me go ahead and scoot it up a little bit higher. There. So on the top side, then I have this smooth. I'm going to do one more staple right there. But I've got this smooth fold, and I don't have to, and it's going to hold it in place, and I don't have to put the tacks in there, the nails, the upholstery nails. So let me go ahead. I'm going to trim this off just a little bit. Like I said, there's probably a way that the professionals do this, but since I'm not a pro. All right. And there's probably a name for that kind of a strip, a tack strip or something like that. So I'm going to put the upholstery nails in these corners right here. Make sure that I've got this all lined up. That's going to be good. Some of my original nails will be usable, and some of them are going to be too bent to use. We'll see whether this one is usable or not. That one was a usable one, so now I've got this smooth back, and then I've got this going to my corners, and now I'm going to stretch this. I want to go ahead and do the center of what would be the top first. Find one that's not bent. Get that kind of wedged into my fabric, and then decide, okay, how far on the edge is it going to go? Right to the very edge. So I've pushed it through my fabric. Give it a little pull, kind of get it into the area where I need it to be. You like that girly hold on the hammer? Choke it up tight. So I was looking at my original, and it looks like that the nail heads were about 3/4 of an inch apart. And I could just do this, but I'm going to go ahead. I've got a little water soluble. It's not going to matter because it's going to be underneath the tack. And you could use a little pencil and make some 3/4 inch marks, just so I can sort of kind of get my rhythm going. I'm not going to make you watch this whole thing. So, again, put my tack in so that it'll be kind of to the edge of the piece of fabric. Okay, this is how we look so far. I'm going to go ahead and finish this. And I'll do the same thing as around the corners, making sure that I've got that in place. And I might have to tuck a little extra or pull down a little something. But I'll work across here, and then I'll work the sides. I have this area done. Now I want to start up here and then come down, and I'll do this curve the very last to make sure to make sure I'm all even and I get everything looking the way I want it whenever I get into this curve. I may come back and put a tack in there, but the main thing, I want to catch this piece of fabric and this piece of fabric. And sometimes you can just give this a push in past the fabrics and into the wood and get sort of a bite before you start hammering. All right, and so that I'm just going to get just keeping this smooth. I'm not going to put a lot of pressure on it, but just keeping it smooth. There's my wood edge. So I want to come on down, go ahead and mark my 3/4 inches and come down. I'm ready to do my corner, and so I want to make sure I have all my ends tucked under, kind of a little soft curve, or it could just be a square. And so as I eyeball this, and that's all I'm doing is eyeballing it, I'm going to kind of come to what I feel like is about the middle of that space. Put that one in, and I'll put a tack in here and a tack in right there. And I'm almost, I was able to do all of this with my salvaged nails, upholstery nails. And then one more, and then after I get this one in, I will repeat this process, of course, on the other side. That's how the back of the back turned out. I think this turned out pretty cute. I'm fixing to go put it back in place in my bedroom. Well, there she is back in her spot. She went from this dark purple to this bright. I think I'm really going to like it in this place. Like I said, I lived with this fabric for a little while. So just kind of in closing, I want to tell you that old house construction and old furniture, other than just a plain chair, sometimes is a little like sin. And what I mean by that is it takes you further than you wanted to go, keeps you longer than what you wanted to stay, and costs you way more than you thought it would. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure and like, subscribe, and share it. And the next one I do, I think I'm going to do the foot cushion, the footstool. That's going to be next. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.